Now, Runul, I will ask you another question here, okay, which troubles many students. How do you choose your optionals? This is the next question that we are dealing with. Okay.
Sure.
What is the method? What can be the process? What should be the criteria for choosing your optionals? Quick word on that, please.
So choosing the optional is almost like choosing your career. Why do you choose a career? You want to do something for the rest of your life. So when you choose your optional, one of the most important criteria is what are you comfortable reading with. You see, what I want to tell to the aspirants is nobody can predict which optional will perform good or bad. The selection probability you cannot predict, and the only weapon that you have is the amount of study or the amount of preparation that you put in your optionals. Having said that, you will only be able to read an optional which interests you. For me, if I can tell you why I took up geography, being from a science background, geography is more than half science. I got proper guidance. I read with Shabbir Sir. So for me, the two criteria were fulfilled. And I don't know whether any other subject would have interested me so much. So if I were to put it in a line, spend some time reading the questions, reading the basics about a subject, not much time, say 2-3 hours per subject, and see what interests you. You see, geography has many things which you can understand and appreciate, even if you are not uh, even if you have not done your graduation in that. So in one line, take an optional which interests you, with which you can spend hours and hours and still not get bored with it.
What was your strategy, Nidhi?
Yes,
Nice
in my,
case study between two of you. Okay,
uh,
very nice case study, two opposite ways, two opposite backgrounds. Okay, I mean, many ways you are two extremes of what the students can identify with. Yeah, please, Nidhi, let's see.
so my optional was a simple choice at the end, but was a difficult journey because my optional was very simple. My optional was in which I did my master's economics, and it was a difficult journey because a lot of people had not motivated me to take that optional. Uh, but these are all hearsay. I see a lot of aspirants take those optional in which a topper performs well. I mean that these are not the case is how you should choose your optional. You should, as Runul has already pointed out, choose an optional either on which you have a background knowledge, like in my case I had, and you are in love with that subject, and you see the question paper, you see the topics, you see, and since I did very well in my graduation and post graduation, I was confident of my subject. I know that I can rule this subject if I put. Only thing was to strategize my preparation for this examination. But I love economics. That's why I've spent 6 years of my life reading and studying economics, right? And still I want to do my PhD in that. So point being that you should enjoy your subject, and then those hearsays do not matter, that who is taking what preparation. If you, because in my case I had no good notes, I had no good guidance for my optional, but I believed in my own preparations of 5-6 years for economics, and I went by that. So I think it's a personal choice at the end. And secondly, as Runal has pointed out, if not your background subject, then whatever interests you, you can take it. And in my own case also, although I was doing economics, I wrote from economics, but I keep discussing with my friends that I've still kept my Gochi Leong with me because I love economics so much. I love geography so much, and I sometimes keep discussing कितना मजा आता था वो. So basically I really enjoyed
तो
studying at
निधि आ जाओ, दोबारा पढ़ा देंगे आपको फिर.
so,
Now listen. That's a great thing. Wish you luck, both of you. Now see, this, like Runul says, is the most important basis of your career. अगर आपने optional गलत उठा लिया, if you picked up an optional that is not suiting you and your study method and interest, that can become the single biggest reason why you fail. And choosing optional is not on the basis of what others are choosing. Just because somebody became a topper with Malayalam, okay, or somebody became a topper with Kannada, or somebody scored brilliant with economy, does not mean it works for you. So it is going to be a personal choice, and that technique is, I think, first familiarize yourself. देखो, you ultimately are struggling with 3-4 optionals. So क्या है? एक sociology होगा शायद, एक pol science होगा. You're struggling with maybe geography as an optional. You're struggling with public administration as an optional. In today's times, maybe anthropology as an optional. Okay, यही 4-5 subjects and maybe 1 or 2 more. इसमें से I'm sure you can eliminate, okay, and stick with 3 choices to play around with. Shayad at first go, I say, no, I don't want political science. Okay, I do not want maybe sociology, or I am confused between only 2 subjects, PubAd and anthropology. Zero down your choices to maybe 2 or 3 options first. Uske baad, okay, you have to read up the basic books, look up the previous year's questions, look up the type of notes available, spend time. जहां आपका optional will consume, if not half, at least 30-40% of a preparation time. It's important that you spend time in deciding which one to choose. It could be 1 month of research work. It could be 15-20 days of talking to people. It could be, spending nights together, reading the syllabus, understanding the width of syllabus. Do not jump into the optional just because somebody else has taken the option and is successful in that. There is an element you have to look forward to, the element of comfort level. There's no science in this. You take an optional and you decide whether you are comfortable with that or not. Okay. You decide whether that interests you or not. In fact, something I tell everybody, dekho, this is a preparation where your preparation does not get over with 1 round of reading. No matter how good you are, you must read that subject at least 3, 4, 5 times. And until a subject interests you, until a subject is able to probably hold your study and your focus, you cannot study the subject for 3, 4, 5 times. हो सकता है कुछ topics आसान हैं, but इसका मतलब ये नहीं है जो आसान है will interest me. So interest is a very, very important criteria, and then go after it. And like what Nidhi says, her interest was economics. She had done her master's in economics. She loved studying economics. She also considered to go for PhD finally. And even though people were distracting her, okay, their economics, pata nahi kaun padhayega, kahan se notes leke aoge, but she hung on with it. And there are enough examples of this kind where your interest will ultimately prevail in helping you prepare for the papers. So one of you was asking, okay, what about physics? Yes, agar aapko physics mein command hai, agar physics aapko dekhkar acha lagta hai, agar physics aapko interest involve kar sakta hai, go for physics. Bacche physics se bhi qualify karte hain. The problem is, students who take a subject without this due consideration, like even if you're from engineering background, does not mean you actually have an engineering mind. For difference है आपके actual ability competencies में और आपके graduation subject में. Just because I have done engineering does not mean I'm good with numbers. Forget about quantitative aptitude. People lack quantitative affinity also. वो number देख के घबरा जाते हैं. Forget about aptitude. So if you do not have that frame of mind, then don't go for it. So find one. Okay, I'm not saying it will be a perfect fit. Find one and then stick on to it. And generally, you are struggling between 2 or 3 optionals. It cannot be more than that. Okay, और एक बार बेटा कूद जाते हो, then I said no looking back. Then there is no chance of going back and re-evaluate. Why? Because it's generally very high cost. You started preparation after 4 or 5 months, you want to have a relook into optionals. It's a very, very high cost. Is it okay, all of you? I hope we are getting across. There's one question for you, Nidhi. Somebody is asking you about the post-graduation and research, Ram Yadav. Will you want to answer or take his question?
We have just replied, sir.
So that Actually, UPSC needs basic conceptual clarity. PhD program, of course, in the sense it can help you, but what is more important is the basic concept clarity, as you rightly pointed out for engineering, that just because we cleared in some examination and we got through our graduation, doesn't mean that we know physics in and out. We are good in the basics of physics, because so you can choose any subject in which your heart lies, and you're doing very well. Your teachers can evaluate. You might have seen your evaluation for 4 years, that how you performed in a particular subject. Can you say that yes, I have a mastery over it? If you can say, then start your preparation for that level. However, as this person has asked the question, that you don't, yes, you can prepare, because if you're doing PhD, I hope that your graduation would be, you are very thorough with your graduation, and please analyze the question papers and see that if you can answer them very well, and just get and evaluate your answers.
So doing PhD is not really an added advantage.
Right.
Okay. Doing PhD is not really going to make a big change in preparation if your basics are not in place. Okay. And unfortunately, India में degree or competency में बहुत कम match होता है. Okay. So there's a lot of mismatch between what you actually do and what you have ability in. So Runul, there's some question for you also. He says, give us some tips about geography. Okay, so one of you is asking which one to choose, geography or economics. So basically they want a fight between two of you. आप दोनों में जुगलबंदी करा के कौन जीतता है, उनको एक तमाशा चाहिए बेसिकली. तो आप दोनों लड़ आपस में.
एक टेस्ट सीरीज एक टेस्ट पेपर लिख दीजिए, एक ज्योग्राफी का लिख दो, एक इकोनॉमिक्स का, फिर देख लेते हैं कि किसमें ज्यादा अच्छे मार्क्स.
ठीक है, ओके. रुनुल, what is your tips in geography? फंसा दिया ऐसा सवाल.
Wide question to ask, but geography requires your attention and discipline. Geography is not a very tough subject to have, but it does require that you pay proper respect to the subject. There are ways in which in discipline you have maps. You need to do maps daily. There are subjects you need to revise, make notes, and basically.
I will help you here. I will help you here. Basically, beta, what Runul is saying is, ऐसे tips दिया नहीं जाता. ठीक है, ये जो कुंजी वाला tips है, 5 मिनट में सर कुछ बोल दीजिए. Okay, ये जो कुंजी वाला है, ये सिर्फ maybe आसाराम बापू दे पाएंगे शायद. Okay, or maybe कोरोनिल दे पाएगा आपको मसाला वाला input. Otherwise, ऐसा tip कुछ होता नहीं है. Okay, sir, you have to get into and start studying is what we want. Otherwise, general suggestion लोगे, बेटा पढ़ाई करो, मेहनत करो, don't lose focus, okay, keep on struggling, keep on writing answers, यही generalize आपको answer मिलेगा. ठीक है? In any case, today's webinar is not an optional geography alone. There are a couple of questions we want to answer so that you have an orientation about how to go about. And most of you are freshers here. आप पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन लेना चाहते हो तो हरिओम आपके लिए सवाल ये है कि क्यों लेना चाहते हो. इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि क्या मैं ले सकता हूं, पहले यू डिसाइड आपको क्यों लगता है पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आपके लिए अच्छा है. ट्राई टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन. आपने उसमें क्या देखा इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि हाँ लगता है यू कैन मैनेज इट. आपने उसमें ऐसा क्या देखा आपको लगता है कि हाँ वो आपके लिए इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. Do that research rather than मैं कौन सा optional लूं. Where can I start answer writing for geography? Okay, Anurag, hold on for the geography, please. I don't want geography to hijack the webinar today. Okay, although that is my domain, I can go on that.